What's going on, y'all? June 13th, 2025. I haven't done a personal podcast on Jesus Hilario show. So here is one. Let's see. Went to the pool yesterday with my kids. Man, I did not want to go. I wanted to stay home and just be lazy. But I told my daughter that we were going to go. So we went. And just keeping that promise or keeping my word on doing that is a huge thing, even though it's a small thing, some people may think. But just being able to go do the things that I say with my daughter. So, anyways, I guess the topic is going toward narcissism and being a victim of narcissistic abuse, being ADHD. Um, yeah, it just helps me to. I've been doing a lot of research lately on like isolation, how narcissists want to keep you isolated so they can keep you for supply. And in my case, I was isolated by a parent, by my mother, and she would blame the isolation on me, like not wanting to be social or go out and talk to people, right? It's real deep, man. Like codependency and all this other stuff that I've been researching is it's big in a person's life like mine that has gone through it and finally realizing, oh, this is what it's like. And so this has been a while. It's been a few years. I don't know, 10 years or more, 5 years or more, where I've decided to go no contact with my mother, also with cousins that are narcissists and want to use me for supply. And I think that also I'm an easy target, probably because I'm ADHD, ADD, and I think that a lot of my self-esteem, low self-esteem, comes from either or. I'm not sure, but I know that low self-esteem. It's like it isn't until you come out of it that you realize, oh, this is what it is. This is why they chose you. I mean, I had low self-esteem. I grew up as a chubby kid. My brother would always like call me fat and make fun of me. You know what I mean? And that was a constant peppering, like every day in middle school and high school, and it just took a toll on me. And I want to say that contributed to my low self-esteem. And then getting into a relationship with my mother, not until my late teen years, early teen years, where she was making herself presentable because she left my brother and I with my dad when we were 2 or 3 years old. She left. She's gone. Like, where's mom at? You know. So my dad and my stepmom raised me and my brother until our teenage years when we decided to rebel and go live with mom and all this other stuff, right? Huge regret nowadays. I'm like, damn, why did I do that? And I know I did it because I wanted to. And that's the thing with narcissists. They'll give you the stuff that you want. They'll tell you the things that you want. They'll let you do the things that you want so that you'll like them. You'll be in their good graces. And then eventually, boom, the hook has been set. They pull the hook. You're hooked. You're like a fish on the hook. Now they got you for supply. And and me being naive and young, which is what another thing the narcissists look for. They look for young talent per se that they could take advantage of, because like even in the book of Proverbs, it talks about the young person being naive and believing things, and then eventually they're caught in a snare, they're caught in a trap, and they have to figure out how to get out of it, which I'm glad that I figured out how to get out of it. And I think the main thing that helped me get out of it was getting married and having kids. So the getting married, right? That was one thing that was taxing on my relationship with the narcissist, because the narcissist tries to use triangulation between you and your wife. My mother was trying to use triangulation between me and my wife. Having me go to my mom was wanting me to go to her before I go to my wife. That was affecting my marriage. And then my wife was telling me, like, look, you need to come and talk to me. This is our marriage, basically. So that was a huge thing. When I had my, and then that's, I guess around that point I started researching narcissism and toxic behavior and stuff like that, and I started finding this out. I'm like, dude, seriously, this is what's going on. This is why I'm feeling uneasy here, in my codependent relationship with the narcissist, which in this case was my mother. And my kid, I started seeing that uh my mother was wanting to be around my kids more, and was, now I see that she wanted to use my kids as supply because they're fresh meat. Basically they're fresh talent, right? Right out of the hospital, after being born, fresh talent right there to use as supply. And I decided, nope, you're not going to use my kids as supply the way you use me, the way you use basically everybody around you. Because it seems to me like narcissists, everybody around them is supply. That's how they consider life. Because and it's sad that it's sad when I think about it, because I'm like, man, I feel sorry for this person because they're not who, they could be. I don't know. I feel sorry for them because they're always looking for supply. They're looking in the wrong places. You know what I mean? I feel, and it's like I want to pray for them, and I don't want to get to the point where I'm caught, like trying to like tell them, oh, you need to be like this, you need to be like this, because I've tried that. If you tried that, it doesn't work. You figure that out, and they'll just use that as another entrance to get you as supply, basically. So that's why I chose, another reason why I chose to go no contact, because there's no trying to change this person. It's like talking to a brick wall. Like you talk to a wall, it doesn't talk back, it doesn't respond, it stays the same, right? It doesn't move. It's immovable because they're stuck in their narcissistic ways, their narcissistic patterns. So just being able to go no contact has helped me, my marriage. It has helped me grow. It helps me to realize who I am and who I've wanted to be all these years, as a person. And it's very freeing because I'm no longer afraid of other people's opinions, because when the narcissist trains you, or they use you for supply, they want you to depend on their opinions about yourself, about your life, about whatever you're going through. They want you to look to them and want their opinion for your life and for what you're doing. And so when I was going through that, I was learning not to listen to my own self, like to just ignore myself, to the point where there was none of me left. The only person that was living through me was the narcissist, and that's what the narcissist wants. They want to live the rest, their extended life through their supply. And I decided no more. I don't want you to. I want to be myself. And when I decided to go no contact, there was a lot of pushback, a lot of guilt tripping, a lot of the old tactics that they used to use to rein me in. One thing, and then eventually I saw the person that they really are, in through text messages to my wife, text messages to me, flying monkeys, people in my family that they would talk to and tell, like, oh, he's being like this toward the narcissist, would go and tell my family members, oh, Jesus is being like this towards me. He's a negative person, la la la. And it sucks because up until that point, I was real vulnerable with that narcissist. They knew everything about me, even my dark secrets, and it sucks because you don't want to go no contact, because I didn't want to go no contact because I know how they were going to react. They were going to tell people my secrets, the stuff about me that I don't want anybody to know. And I feel like that's why some people stay in those relationships, because they're, for fear of, that stuff getting out. I mean, think about like the Diddy trials and stuff that like that. There's people on the list, you know what I mean, that don't want to be outed because of the secrets that narcissistic person may have about them, because they know that if they go no contact, or just say no, then they'll show the video. Oh, well, if you say no, I'm going to show the video of you doing this, and this. You know what I mean? Basically, the same type of narcissistic tactic in my situation. So I just decided I have to do this, and I'm thank God that I was strong enough, with His help, to do this, to be able to say no. I'm done. I have a life that I need to live. I need to live for myself. sounds selfish, and it probably is to a certain extent, but I think we need to care for ourselves before we care for others, because that's what the thing that the narcissist will do. They'll be like, well, it'll get to the point where you're caring so much for them that you forget to care about yourself. And Christian narcissists will use that against you, like, oh, you're supposed to be selfless, you're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself, whatever, you're supposed to look to the needs of others and not to the needs of yours. Man, I can't stand the Christian narcissist, which, sad to say, my mother is like that. She's a Christian and a narcissist. Christian narcissist, go figure. So I need to put myself first before I can start caring for others, before I start caring for my immediate family, like my kids and my wife. I need to look to God first. That's one of my beliefs. I look to God first in how to live. Look to His wisdom in the Bible, how to live. Therefore, I can start teaching my kids and and helping my wife as she helps me in the Word of God to help be better people. That makes any sense. So anyway, thanks a lot, you guys, for listening. This is June 13th, 2025. I guess the whole topic was narcissistic, growing up with a narcissistic mother, going no contact, and realizing what it's like to be in that type of relationship and getting out of one. Thanks a lot, you guys. Bye.